Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs, and today I'm going to attempt to make Goku from the Dragon Ball Z series. I have to admit I'm not familiar with the series myself, but one of my followers has asked if I could make one. So I'm doing the teenage version, who I believe is the one that wears the boots and does not have the tail. So we'll start with him. The colours you're going to need are black and skin tone, orange and navy blue, and a couple of yellow for his boots. And we're going to start with a single loom in the offset configuration, so columns 1 and 3 are slightly lower than column 2. The open part of the peg is facing towards you, or the arrow, if you have arrows, is facing towards you. And we're going to be double banding, and double banding means you take 2 bands and you place them on the pegs together as if they were one, like this. Now what we're going to be doing is adding these extension bits to his hair to sort of give him that crazy hair look. So I'm going to just put a couple on to start with, and then we'll add some, and then we'll put the rest on. So I'm going to start with these. Now what we're going to do is take 2 bands and place them on a peg, and we're doing this 3 times. And he's just sort of got this really messy hair from what I can see. Take a single band, wrap it around your hook 3 times and place it on here as an end cap. Then dig down. Now this one we need to put a band here, 2 bands here, sorry about that. Let's add 2 bands here. So this side here goes across. Then you're going to loop up this, and you're going to loop up this. Take this off the loom and put it on top, and then loop these up like that. So you've sort of got this messy spiky look thing happening, and we're going to add that to this pair of bands here. And this is probably the most time consuming bit, doing the hair of the whole figure actually. So we're just going to do a variety of different sort of spiky looks, I guess. This time we'll just do 2, just like that, and an end band. Dig down, pull it up. So that's a sort of smaller one. I'm going to put that on the same set of bands, like that. So that will be for this one. We'll do some on here next. Slide this onto here, and we'll do a big one. And an end cap. Oops. Dig down past the end cap and grab the 2 bottom bands and loom them to the side, and up and up, then up again. Take it off our loom, and as I said, it doesn't have to be too tidy. These can be messy as, because it looks like he's got bedhead. Those back on. So these are 2 for here. I'm going to get 2 bands and come down like this. I'm going to do some for these as well. I have some bands that I've never used before, and my little one, very carefully, usually I keep them very separate from the bands that I use on a daily basis, and my little one had thought that just because they were the same colour she could mix them in for me and tidy up. So I was sort of like, oh, thank you, darling. So let's do this again. Up. That's a slightly smaller one. We'll pop that on this peg here. I'm going to do another smaller one. So when it's a smaller one, it's just a single band that you loop on itself. And when it's a bigger one, you do 2 bands. I do hate it when it comes off the loom. There we go. This one can go here. I'm going to do one in the front as well. And it's up to you how many of these you do, how much hair you want him to have. That's completely up to you. I'm going to do this little one in the front. Like that. Now I'm also going to put a crossover band over here. I'm going to broken band, loop it on itself a bit. So now we've placed our bands for our hair. Come down and do the bands for the face. Oops, 2 not 3. Make sure you push your bands down. I'm going to use a single band and stretch it across here in a triangular shape for a crossover band. I'm going to do the same above here, like that, as a crossover band. Now, I was a bit concerned because we had so much on his head. The hair sort of looked a bit see-through. So I don't think it's really worth doing a crossover band, but if you wanted to, you could get a single band, loop it on itself, and we'd do a reverse crossover band, which is almost like that. So you've got it going upside down triangle from here to here, and we could see if that helps a little bit with pulling his hair in so he doesn't look like he's got bald spots. For his eyes, I'm going to use the mini pony beads if I can grab them. They're rolling all over the place. And I thread them using my hook, but if you want to use a metal threader, you can do that, or some dental floss, whatever you choose. Thread them onto your band, and they're going to stretch across from here to here. Now, normally I would take the top band here and loop it up here, but today I'm going to loop it down because his eyes kind of face downward, not upward. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do for that. For his neck, I'm using particularly thick silicone bands. I'm just going to use 2, but I would recommend normally using 3 bands if you're using the normal rubber bands. As you can see, there's a difference. These are sort of rounded and thicker, and they don't stretch so much. In fact, they hardly stretch at all, whereas these stretch quite a lot versus this. Okay, so I would only use 2 if you're using the silicone bands. If you're using rubber bands, use 3. So to his shoulders, and to his chest, push everything down. Make sure you have room. Get rid of these black bands. Now, he wears a blue undershirt and orange overalls. So what I'm going to do is place a pair of blue here, and then I'm going to use orange here and here, but I'm going to take a pair of blue and put them here, and a pair of blue and put them here, and so he doesn't look like he's got a great big gap in his chest, I'm going to put an end cap there, single band, wrap it around my hook twice, and I'm just going to place that there so it doesn't sort of splay apart. Okay, let's move on with our orange bands. You're going to stop 1 peg before the end. Like that. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do the crotch. You can do the crotch this way, where you just have this band here, or you can actually do it. So this is the one way where you have the band like this and you move this one up over. Alright. The other way to do it, which will take a few more bands but still has a very nice result, is how I did it with my Batman and Robin when they were wearing the underpants. You do it like this and then you put an end cap, if you don't drop your hook, here. And that's got quite a nice, that has quite a nice result as well. We're going to do his belt, which is blue, and you're going to take a single blue band and we're going to pop it here. And you're going to put 2 on each peg, like that. Now you can do this with your fingers. I do it with my hook so I don't stretch it too much. I don't have itty bitty fingers like my daughter. So 2. we need crossover bands, a single orange, I'm sorry, and stretch it across here. Now this one we're going to wait until after, we're not ready to do that. Take a single band, stretch it into a figure 8, and it goes across those 3, and then a single orange, not looped on itself, goes on those. We're going to do his hands next. Take a single band, wrap it once and twice, and slide it onto 2 skin tone bands. You're next going to use 2 blue bands for his wrist cuffs, and then a pair of skin tone. Try and make it so they're not too twisted on themselves. Another pair of skin tone, and then a pair of blue for his sleeves of his undershirt. Like that, and place that on his shoulder. Let's do the same for the other side. Single skin tone, wrap it once and twice, slide onto a pair of skin tone, a pair of navy blue for his cuffs, and then 2 pair of your skin tone. There's 1 pair, 2 pair, and a pair of navy for his t-shirt, and we'll attach that to his shoulder here. Okay, next we're going to do his boots. His boots are navy with a couple of stripes of yellow in them. So what I'm going to do is take 2 navy, wrap once and twice, and then 2 navy with a yellow in between, like that. And I'm going to slide these navy that I twisted onto it and reclaim. And I'm going to, when I reclaim, make sure that the order is correct, that my yellow is in the middle of the 2 blue, like that. Let's do it again. 2 blue, wrap once and twice, and then 2 blue with a yellow in between to slide onto, like that. Take the first pair you made and slide those bands on, then you take these off and swap sides for your hook and slide those ones on, and then reclaim all your bands. Okay, now the thing we need to make sure is that we have boots to put them onto. So again, we're going to do 2 blue and a yellow in between them. There. And there. So I'm going to slide my first boot onto the end of this little leg, like that. Okay, let's do the other side. 2 blue, wrap once and twice, and slide onto 2 blue and a yellow. Try and get that so it's in the right order. There we go. 2 blue, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 blue and a yellow, and then take the first set we made and slide them up and over. Swap sides with your hook, like that. Hold those, move up and over, and reclaim angle the boot the other way and it gets popped on this leg like that. So we have crossover bands, we have belt, we need another crossover band for there when we've looped it up, crossover, crossover, arms, neck and eyes and hair. I think we're ready to start looping. Pull down the foot and you're going to grab those 3 bands, blue, blue and yellow. Do that on both sides and then we're on to the orange. Loop up to the groin area and then we're going to dig down under that end cap and find the 2, oh if I can get the end, there we go, the 2 top bands and loop to one side, the next top bands and loop to the other side, and then the center bands and loop up. Then we're ready to do the belt. Dig down, push those crossover bands back with the back of your hook so that you're exposing those 2 bottom bands. So when we get to the belt, as you see I've just pushed things down a bit, you have a top set of orange bands here and a bottom set of orange bands here. You're going to go under the bottom set of orange bands, grab the blue bands but not the orange bands for the next peg up. Push your hook through the blue bands and twist your hook around and bring it to the front and pull forward like that. Do the same on the other side and pull forward. If you don't get them all, it's okay. Go back for that one and pull forward. Pretty them up. Let's do this last one. Grab the blue bands, not the orange underneath the blue, and pull forward, and if you miss one, go back for it. There we go. Now this is where we need to add our other crossover band, and it needs to be figure 8 and looped on itself so it's tight. So what you're going to do is you need to take the 2 top orange bands off there and pop your crossover band on and replace the orange bands, and you need to do this in the middle as well, like so, and also you can stretch it over to here if you like while you lift, see it's up to there. For this side here, the top 2 orange bands, and then place it there. Now this should form a triangle. Replace those bands so it's a looped triangle on itself there. Let's carry on with our looping up. Up to the middle here. Now we're going to do this middle bit first and then loop the orange on top of it so it's the predominant colour. You have an end cap here. Dig down past the end cap and grab the 2 top blue and loop them to their corresponding side. Push things down, it's going to get tight. Under the end cap, grab those 2 bands and loop to the side. Now you're going to loop these up so the orange is on the top. Then we do his arms. Dig down and find those 2 bottom skin tone bands. Now we've got another 2 here, so dig down through that end cap and find those 2. And we have a lot of bands to go through here. As you can see, there's a whole peg full of them, and we need to find those bottom 2. So dig down and find those bottom 2 and gently, I've only got 1, but if you need to, sometimes wiggling your hook helps. If you just wiggle it a bit, and there we go, we've got both. For his face, you're going to dig down and you'll find the top 2 bands and loop across to the side. Same for the other side, loop across. Loop the middle one up, and let's loop these side ones up. Now we're at his hair. Dig down, find the 2 black bands and break one. That's not very helpful, Kate. Okay, we will replace that because we need it. I'm going to lift this crossover band off for a second. And I'm going to take that broken band out. Put these loops onto my hook. Find another black band. Thread that on. That was annoying, wasn't it? Okay, so we're going to put one side there. Stay on there, buddy. And the other side needs to go under these skin tone bands. Let me see if I can just get them straight. Come here, you wiggly little thing. There we go. So these 2 loops here need to go under these. So I'm going to do it almost as if I'm tying off. I'm going to put my hook under and out to the side, and I'm going to grab those 2 black loops of the band onto my hook, grab it, if I can keep them on there, and pull it up and around, and we did it. Phew! Alright, we need to put this crossover band back, and it needs to be underneath that. You won't have to do all this because your band's not going to break. Okay, so there we go. Let's do this side. Wiggle, 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 and up we go. Bottom 2 black bands to loop up. Bottom 2 black bands to loop up, and then we're here. Now we have this little piece of hair in the middle. That's only one band, let's find both. I want to splay my band out so that that goes through the middle. Okay, we're going to take 2 black bands so that we can tie this off. Dig your hook down the middle and out the side. Grab the 2 black bands and drag it back up the centre of that peg to the outside of it. Take the 2 closest to you, up, over and off, and pull tight. And we are ready to take him off the loom. Let's hope we have no more broken bands. The silicone bands are very tight bands. They have a nice result, but they're quite difficult to work with. Okay, so I'm taking him off the loom, straighten out his boots, just pull out his arms a bit, and his hair, make that. And I'm not too worried about his hair because his hair's supposed to be scruffy and messy and whatnot. The 2 tie-off loops I'm going to take to the back of his head and loop under some of the bands here so that they're not as obvious. Now I've looped it under there. Now what I can do is splay it out and pop it over one like that, so that it's sort of hidden and whatnot. Pull the hair around so that it's how you want it to be shaped. Now the other thing that I did was take a blue band and slide it under the center blue part of his belt here, and what you can do is tie it in a knot. I know you're laughing at me with my knots. Like that, and that can act as the belt for his gi. And there we have our little Goku, I think he's called. Hope you enjoy making him. Take care.